West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. All our memories gather round her, minus lady, stranger to blue water, dark and dusty, painted on the sky, misty taste of moonshine, teardrop in my eyes. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. Radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country road.
Unmute.
Thank you. Welcome to the Virtual Stab Comedy Theater. It's time for Middle Class Film Class. Please welcome to the screen, Middle Class Film Class.
Hello, Twitch. Hello, classmates, and welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class Gavin Chatter Edition for Saturday, June 24th, 2023. I'm your host for today, Pete.
I'm Joseph.
And no Tyler over there. On this episode, Cronenberg and Skarsgård, fake dick experts, and the mother of all Comic-Cons kills their darlings. Plus, Elizabeth Hurley's new erotic thriller keeps it all in the family. And why isn't modern animation as good as Across the Spider-Verse?
Why isn't it?
I guess you got to find out.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure Tyler will have a lot to say about that
Yes, he will.
eventually.
He'll say.
Whenever we see him again.
Where is Tyler?
If he makes it back from Stockton.
he went to the glorious, beautiful Stockton, sunny Stockton.
The pride of California.
Yeah. What county is that? Where's the last county?
Not Solano.
Is it Stanislaus County?
Maybe.
Oh God. Yeah, everything south of here is it's like the
In between here and LA.
it's like the elephant graveyard in Lion King.
Nobody goes there.
Yeah, just don't go there, Simba. Yeah, we're here in the studio. It's just the two of us, and we're streaming live on Twitch through Stab Comedy. Thank you so much, Stab, for hosting us month after month, every fourth Saturday. And if you are hearing this on the podcast stream and you don't know what a Twitch is, just go to twitch.com. Twitch.tv/Stab Comedy, and you'll see us every fourth Saturday at noon, and you'll see all kinds of great streaming local comedy stuff throughout the entire week. Every single day they're streaming stuff, and in person in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Jesse's a mensch too.
Yes.
A mensch, as Tyler would love that I'm using that word.
Yeah.
So anyways, let's cut through all the noise and let's go right to some Gavin Chatter.
Find some charity in ye, lad. Now's the time for Gavin Chatter.
Yes, Gavin Chatter. Movie news. Joseph, why don't you lead us off?
Okay, well, I got a couple interesting stories. One was more, I guess, of a tragic story. One's a little bit more of a story time comedy kind of weird thing about the making of Infinity Pool.
Oh, fun.
By the Cronenberg estate. And this movie was directed by the prince of the Cronenberg estate, Brandon Cronenberg.
The Crown Prince.
Yes. And so the movie was released, and then there was a NC-17 version of the movie that was released.
Really?
Yes.
That does not surprise me at all. I don't know why I'm acting surprised.
And so this article sort of recounts the making of a prosthetic penis with Alexander Skarsgård, between Brandon Cronenberg and Alexander Skarsgård. In quotes, "We've done this a million times. Send me the dick pics."
That was the tweet?
Yes.
Or that was the text?
The exchange.
I know you got him on your phone. Just send him.
Yeah. And the Infinity Pool director's cut, it's a director's cut, features a much more explicit version of, I guess, an infamous beach sex scene between Skarsgård and Mia Goth.
Oh,
and,
boy.
If sand wasn't enough to be a explicit sex scene, like getting all that coarse stuff in your crevices.
Him and Hayden Christensen do not share their views on sand.
Yeah. So the standard version of Infinity Pool, I mean, shocked probably a lot of people watching it. I haven't watched it yet. With its neon tinged story of psychological torture and at a sort of billionaire hedonistic sort of resort, rich people trauma, I guess. There is that apparently was a much tamer version than what Cronenberg originally shot.
There's less dick in that version.
Yeah, and so when the NC-17 cut was released back in March, fans were shocked. I don't know why they would be shocked to see it. If you hear an NC-17 director's cut is coming out of this already almost NC-17 movie potentially, oh my god, I can't believe it. It could get worse.
I know. And they also chose to watch the NC-17 version.
Yes. I can't believe I'm here right now.
I don't know what I was expecting, but
so as I said, there was a much more graphic, explicit version of a sex scene between Mia Goth and Alexander Skarsgård, character, not the people. That featured full frontal nudity from Skarsgård at a Q&A with IndieWire's Eric Kuhn, who I guess wrote this article, or following a screening of the movie, Cronenberg opened up about the provocative news scene and why it had to be cut, because Alexander Skarsgård is not cut.
okay. They're like, we don't want to offend the Americans.
So the MPAA has only one objective rule. This is from Cronenberg, and that's no hard cocks.
Really?
Cronenberg said everything else is a mind-fuckingly weird, infuriating, subjective quagmire that you have to navigate with them. No offense to the MPAA, but no hard cocks. We knew
That's their hard line. That's their hard stance.
We knew was the thing. So that had to come out. Cronenberg had a special effects artist, Dan Martin, is a skilled prosthetic constructor and worked well with Skarsgård, really well, to design his fake genitalia. He makes a lot of penises. The kind of movies that he does, he ends up making penises very, very frequently.
Is this
He worked on Antichrist.
when his parents are at a dinner party and they're all talking about what their kids do for work? Do you think his parents leave this part out?
I'd rather be.
He's a drug addict.
I'd rather he be in porn.
Yeah. He's addicted to heroin.
There's a very interesting process where you introduce Dan to your actor and say, Dan is sculpting your penis, so he can send you shots of this penis and you can approve it. Alex Skarsgård had already done that on something else, so he's like, oh yeah, we've done this a million times. Send me the dick pics. Despite the easy sculpting process, the prosthetic had some functionality problems when they shot the sex scene.
So it wasn't a real hard wang. It was a prosthetic hard wang.
You can't show a real hard wang.
You can show a fake one.
Yeah. I guess
Maybe,
so.
well, maybe that's why it became NC-17.
Maybe.
Oh, come on, I have a question about this. Why do they need the pictures? Why does it have to be accurate to Alexander Skarsgård's actual dong?
Why? They just need it to be.
Couldn't they just be like, yeah, here's
white.
Here's a Swedish-looking dong.
He's a white skin.
We're gonna make it, yeah.
They didn't want to get him hard right there.
Jesus Christ.
They want to get a picture. It would be weird if it was right there.
I know. They're like, hey, come in. We need to do some test screenings. We need to do it. That 3D motion capture. They put the little white dots all over it.
Yeah. So, like I said, there were some functionality issues when they shot with the prosthetic penis, because it wasn't just like for show. It has to be functional too.
Yeah.
This isn't just for like appearances.
This
It works too.
Yeah. This is we're artisans after all.
Yeah.
This is art.
So they had functionality problems when they shot that sex scene, which they shot it in Croatia. And Cronenberg said that technical difficulties involving the ejaculation process forced him to get creative and reshoot the scene. I don't know. I don't like that phrasing. To get creative.
Oh my god.
What can we do?
I think you know.
Just stand right off camera.
Does anybody have that Gogurt left over from Henry Cavill?
Oh yeah. We shot it the first time in Croatia, and the semen jammed. I hate when that happens.
Is that the kind of jam festival that Tyler's at?
Oh yeah. It's like that scene in Spaceballs. He's like, "We've been jammed. What kind? Raspberry, strawberry? No, semen."
Oh god.
It really just sort of dribbled out, and it was too consistently white.
I don't like this story. This story's making me uncomfortable.
So the shot that, no pun intended or pun very intended, that's in the film was shot in a studio after the main shoot. I don't like how many shots are shooted in this sentence.
What the hell are you talking about?
So
We're off the rails already.
So Alexander Skarsgård and Brandon Cronenberg were both not strangers to the process of making a prosthetic penis, and neither was Dan Martin, who makes a lot of penises for the filmmaking world. And that's a weird issue.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird where life takes you sometimes.
I know.
Here I am with a penis that I created that is not ejaculating properly.
That's God's path for him. You could have your best intentions, your ideas of life that you're going to travel down, but God says no. You're going to be the premier wang sculptor.
Honestly, I mean, it really just sort of dribbled out. I mean, sometimes that's how it happens.
Sometimes it be like that.
Sometimes you just don't have, you don't have it in you.
Literally.
Yeah, you can't go the distance.
Oh God.
How
long is this article?
Well, that's the end of it.
Okay.
That's we're done with that.
Thank Christ.
So, Infinity Pool, we'll have to check it out.
This is our listeners right now.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
What did I tune into?
You just
Twitch
can't
is
get into
this?
it because they would never understand.
Twitch, get it?
Yes, we're sex positive here.
All right, what else you got?
All right, nothing sex related anymore.
Yeah, not to my story.
All Comic-Con related.
Oh, okay.
Comic-Con.
No sex there.
Comic-Con. Comic-Con is happening next month in July, between July 19th and the 21st. And it's the infamous San Diego Comic-Con. It's the big one. The one that all the trailers for the next superhero movies and franchises come out. And I have all the panels.
Oh, that's a
bunch of directors and actors, and
everybody's uploading their like take your cell phones, and people sneak it in their like Google Glass.
They have their second cell phone.
Yeah.
But this year, this is coming from Variety, and the San Diego Comic-Con is facing yet another existential threat. I assume the first one was the pandemic, and they didn't do it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And
second one was when there was the supply shortage on body odor or body deodorant.
There's not enough poopery, or they couldn't instead of misters, because San Diego, so it's hot in July, they had just like Axe body spray, like spraying out of the misters at the entrance, the foyer of the whole convention. But in big news, Marvel, Netflix, Sony, HBO, and Universal are skipping this year's San Diego Comic-Con.
Jesus Christ. That's like all of them.
That's like the main ones.
Wait, no Sony, Disney, Marvel, HBO, Paramount. What else?
Marvel, Netflix, Sony, HBO, Universal.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. And it's not looking good for the.
What's gonna be left? Just actual comics?
I mean, comics and maybe Warner Brothers will be there, or Warner.
Maybe they'll just fill it in with stand-up comics. It'll be a different type of Comic Con.
Yeah. And I mean, this is also coming amid like the whole like writer strike and all that stuff happening, or still happening at the same time. And this article goes, for 2 years, the biggest annual fan convention in North America was forced to cancel their 5-day gathering due to the pandemic. Placing Comic-Con International is a nonprofit. The nonprofit organization that runs San Diego Comic-Con under precedented financial strain. Well, because there you don't make any money. And hence the nonprofit nature. The nature of nonprofit.
They've become an anti-profit organization.
We're pro-profit now.
Yeah.
Last year, San Diego Comic-Con came roaring back. Last year in 2022, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the first time they did it since the pandemic started. And they had the whole mask and vaccine requirements during that time. And at the time, House of the Dragon, The Walking Dead, and Star Trek had huge panels at that time. This year's
Walking Dead last year?
yeah, because I think
That's its whole thing?
I think it's like because it was ending,
Oh, okay.
maybe, or close to ending.
We can hope.
Yeah, 15 seasons later, it's like Grey's Anatomy. At
I was
this
just
point.
going to say, Grey's Anatomy is catching up.
This year's Comic-Con, which is happening in July, is increasingly likely to have none of those panels, none of those exciting panels. And
Is it just because they're not making their money back from it?
I don't know. I have no
Doesn't
idea.
even say why, huh?
It's like they're doing the route of the streaming services. They're gonna have their own conventions for each of these.
Oh, I
I
gotcha.
have no idea.
It's like it's like the Apple has their own thing when they drop the new
oh yeah.
$35,000 VR headset.
Yes. If SAG-AFTRA and the AMPTP, I don't know what that stands for. American Motorcycles
AMPT?
AMPTP cannot come to terms by June 30th, the contract deadline, and the guild goes on strike. Actors will most certainly join the writers and the showrunners in sitting out promotional events like Comic-Con,
I was just gonna say it's probably because of that. It's
leaving studios with almost no one to populate panels.
the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers.
Oh, okay. Amid that uncertainty, several studios have preemptively nixed plans for their presence at the Comic-Con. Disney and its subsidiaries, Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm, are not planning any panels, cutting off the chance to showcase the cast for upcoming projects like The Marvels, Loki Season 2, Ahsoka, and the Haunted Mansion series.
Yeah.
Okay, I go.
I thought it was just a movie.
Maybe. I don't know. HBO, we already have a Haunted Mansion movie with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, I know they're
that's the-
rebooting everything.
Yeah, what the fuck? We don't need it. HBO, which has True Detective Season 4 soon and House of the Dragon Season 2, which is still in production, are not going, nor Sony Pictures with Gran Turismo and Kraven the Hunter this year, and Universal Pictures with Last Voyage of the Demeter. I think it's Demeter.
Dementor?
The Dracula movie.
Oh.
Strays, the wonderful and much anticipated Strays movie, and The Exorcist, and Netflix, which just held its massive fan event in Brazil, where it debuted first looks at big budget genre series, including its One Piece adaptation, is also sitting out for the San Diego Comic-Con.
Kevman in the chat says D23 is probably where Marvel Disney is going to release all their stuff, which is the
D23 Expo.
Yeah, the D23 Expo. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. They're going to break off their own stuff.
Other studios are in a wait and see posture. Warner Brothers, which needs a robust PR boost for upcoming DC features Blue Beetle and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, has yet to rule out skipping Comic-Con, and the company's streaming service Max is planning on bringing some animation titles to the convention. Paramount Pictures expects to hold a panel for their TMNT movie, but its streamer Paramount has yet to commit to any panels for its Star Trek shows. NBC will only move forward with its panels if there is no actor strike, but that protocol does not necessarily extend to its sister streamer, Peacock. And Amazon plans to have some kind of presence for Season 2 of The Wheel of the Time, and The Boys Gen 5 are due to premiere in the fall, but the streamer is still sorting out what that will be. Apple, meanwhile, has remained tight-lipped about what, if any, presence they may have.
I don't know a single person that's ever seen the Wheel of Time. I've
I
never
just
heard.
heard
I've
of
never
it.
heard anybody talk about it.
I heard of it just now.
They're like, it's a new season. You can't wait, right?
In the absence of panels, some studios may lean on activations and promotional stunts outside the convention center to generate fan interest, but that's cold comfort for the Comic-Con itself, which has thrived for over a decade on a steady stream of A-list stars and marquee projects.
I mean, they're just gonna have to go to the olden days where it's just
Comics?
actual comics,
Cards, games.
they're just a bunch of nerds hanging
Yeah.
out and trying to get autographs from.
Go back to your roots.
From Brent Spiner from Star Trek.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, get back to how it began. What made it popular in the first place?
Kevin says that he thinks that it's gone the way of E3. I guess E3's gone now too.
Yeah, the Video Game Expo.
I mean, these things can't last forever. There's a time and place.
Yeah, and it's
And they say white people have no culture. What's Comic-Con then?
it's dying.
They're killing our culture.
With regard to the strike and its possible effects on Comic-Con, we tend to refrain from speculation or forecasting. I will say I hope for is a speedy resolution that will prove beneficial to all parties and allow everyone to continue to work all the work they love. Until then, we continue to diligently work on our summer event in the hopes of making it as fun, educational, and celebratory as in years past. So, I mean, I'm not going to Comic-Con.
No, I've never been.
I mean,
It sounds fun.
there was a point in my life where I would have really liked to go, but I mean, tickets, maybe not anymore, but tickets were so hard to get.
Really?
They were gone in as soon as they were up, they were gone in
Oh, that's weird.
less than an hour.
Seems like a weird thing to sell out very fast.
Yeah.
Well,
But I mean, with the height of all these panels and trailers and
it's true.
it's kind of like E3, but then they limited E3 to only developers.
Industry people.
Yeah.
It's like SEMA. SEMA's for cars, Special Equipment Manufacturers Association.
Yeah.
It's a big show every year, and it gets big. It's in Vegas. It takes over and it's every weekend. The same year they have the AVN Awards, the Adult Video Entertainment.
Oh.
So they're in the two different expo halls. It's all these custom car stuff and all these porn stars.
Oh.
It's very weird. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it blends very well together. But that's all I have.
Cool. Awesome. So for my story, we're bringing it back to the sex. It's
Hell yeah.
happening. It's happening. And so Damian Hurley is the son of Elizabeth Hurley, who his father is. I don't know. Didn't look that far into it.
Austin Powers.
Yeah, he looks like. I mean, she was dating Hugh Grant for a while.
Oh.
But that was a long time ago.
The Prime Minister?
Yeah. And so he's a director, Damian Hurley. Young Damian Hurley, and
So he's a nepo baby.
yes, he is. And he's made a splash with his very own directorial project titled Strictly Confidential. And while it's not uncommon for actors to work with their children in Hollywood, Damian's first venture as director saw him film his mother's erotic scenes with another woman.
Very nice.
What is going on there?
Mother.
I really wanted Tyler to be here for this for this story because
This is how you treat your mother.
this is again another inappropriate relationship with the mother. I think these are like two sides of the opposite spectrum.
Either no affection,
A firm handshake on Mother's Day or filming a sex scene.
a lesbian
mom.
sex scene with your mom.
Yeah, so the film, which sees the steamy scenes take place between Liz's character Lily and co-star Pear Shiravara's character Natasha. Pear, Pear.
Oh.
Maybe it's Pear.
Pierre.
Was also written by Damian Hurley
For his mom.
and features Freddie Thorpe from there's like a couple Netflix shows
okay.
that he's in. The new It Kid. I guess.
This Pear Shivera has not been in anything.
She just found her on Craigslist. The mystery drama follows Mia, played by the British actress Georgia Locke, as she's, quote, drawn into a world of seduction, duplicity, and betrayal, according to the film's website.
Okay.
So I got no problem with Nepo babies, right? I'm fine with it.
Okay.
It's like judge the person on the merits of their own stuff, but that's how the world works, right? It's like it's not what you know, it's who you know. We've heard that a million times. And when your family members are connected, you have the likelihood you're going to get into a little bit more conversations with people and just getting a good product in front of the right eyes. And then it comes to us. Kind of sucks that the people who live in Nebraska, who have great scripts and great content, are never going to have that opportunity unless you just abandon all hope, move to Hollywood, and just like shill yourself out, which is, I guess, the American dream. But this is too far.
You crossed the line, bud.
You crossed the line, pal. We don't. I don't. First off, Elizabeth Hurley, 57.
Yeah,
still gorgeous as ever. Still smoking hot. And
whenever I watched her in Austin Powers, I was like,
she is gorgeous in Austin Powers, gorgeous and bedazzled. Yeah, and she had a son, and his son said, "Hey, mom, can I film you banging another girl on camera for my first movie, please?" And her answer was, "Sure,
hell yeah,
yeah, anything for you, boy." So yeah, that's weird. But I mean, Hollywood stuff. There's a lot of weird things happening, a la Infinity Pool. The elite socialites of the world do weird things, and I guess they can because they have money, like spending $250,000 to go down to the bottom of the ocean, in a aluminum can. That whole thing,
piloted by a PlayStation 2 controller.
Dude, every time I see a new photo of that, it just blows my mind. It's like, did you see the picture where they have the monitor screwed into the hole through carbon fiber?
Oh no,
it's like bolted to the hole from the inside so they can see the monitor, the passengers, and it's into the hole of the ship.
Oh yeah,
and it screws her through it. That's a pressurized vessel. You're not supposed to puncture the hole.
Well, that could be part of the reason.
It could be. Carbon fiber reportedly was also bought on discount from Boeing because it was past its shelf life to be used in aircraft construction.
Good for the air, bad for the air, good for the sea.
I feel like it needs to be even higher quality for underwater, like the pressure is higher or something.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so what do you think about that? I think you would be
Hurley?
Yeah. I don't know a whole lot of people that would.
No, I would never. I would.
Tyler's head, I think, listening to this is exploding as we speak.
Yeah, it's it's weird. I don't get it.
There's
why your mom?
Because that's all he's got. That's all he's got. This is nepotism.
Why couldn't she just be like the producer?
Sure. Yeah.
On it. Why does she have to be in it?
Or she could be one of the ones that's not getting, bedded by another woman.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like she's like the only name in it.
Yeah.
Like that you would know.
You and I.
Well, yeah.
A lot of times when I hear stories like this, I think, okay, people are overreacting, blah, blah, blah. It's not that bad. There's no way to for me to give this guy an out. This is just, it's just creepy.
Now, if it was Elizabeth Hurley directing a movie and then wrote a sex scene with her son.
Yeah, it's less bad, but it's still very bad.
Okay, it's less bad.
It's less bad, but not by much.
All right, now get on top of her.
More gentle. What are you doing? Okay.
Didn't I teach you anything?
Okay. For my next story, as the intro says, why isn't all the animation as good as Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse?
Or the Lego movie.
Yeah. So there is actually a Lego segment in the new Across the Spider-Verse series, and which coincidentally, very cool. There was after the trailer dropped, and this kind of ties into the story. After the trailer dropped for the Lego movie, there was a young kid, I want to say 16, 17, that made a...
Oh, yeah, I remember. I heard about this.
Kevin says, do not Google how to film your mother. So yeah, the young kid made this like a part of the trailer in Legos at home.
Yeah.
Filmed it and then put it on Twitter, and Lord and Miller both were like, oh, that's sick. They hired him to make a segment in the movie.
Yeah.
And actually used it in the actual production, which was great. And they paid him a tenth of what they would have paid an adult.
Yeah. Because he's a tenth of an adult.
Yeah, that's right. But no, so essentially Into the Spider-Verse, people were gushing over how transcendent the animation was, how fresh it felt, and how interesting it was. But fans and critics also like to wonder, why don't more animated movies look this good? The Paramount Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot that's coming out has a very similar style, and people are like, that's great, it looks great, and all this kind of stuff. But according to people who worked on the sequel, Across the Spider-Verse, it's because the working conditions required to produce such artistry are just not sustainable. They described the process of making the $150 million Sony project as uniquely arduous, involving a relentless kind of revisionism that compelled approximately 100 artists to flee the movie before it completed.
Wow.
So they had, I don't know how many animators you had on a project like that, but 100 people quit over the lifespan of the movie. That doesn't seem like a good thing.
It's they got all the people who made Shrek Retold to
Oh God. To finish the movie.
yeah.
I would pay good money for that. Speaking of which, I recommended somebody, a random internet stranger on Twitter, to watch that for their like friend recommend year, whatever. And June was my month for him to watch that, and he got 15 minutes in and dipped out.
Really?
He's like, no fucking way, can't do it. So while frequent major overhauls are standard operating procedure in the animation, like for example, Pixar can take between 4 and 7 years to plot, animate, render, get to film complete. But those changes typically occur during development and storyboarding stages. The Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse crew members said that they were asked to make alterations to already approved animated sequences that created a backlog of work across multiple late stage departments. So it was like this like,
They had finished it.
yeah, okay, that looks great, we're already done, cut, wrap, it's good, we're gonna do it all over again. So Across the Spider-Verse was meant to debut in theaters in April of 2022 before it was postponed in October of that year, and then later into June of 2023 of this year, so almost a year later. Most of the reports at that time said it was pandemic related delays. Whether or not that's true, we'll never know. Maybe it was because they just decided to keep cutting and cutting.
Yeah.
But I mean, Pixar,
Revising.
yeah. I don't 100% agree with this article. This is from Vulture that says that most of these stages, well, I guess maybe it is most, but Pixar's willing to scrap the entire project if it's not working.
Yeah.
They've said that many times, that it's one of their core values is you can't commit to bad quality. So if you're going into it and you're like, it's just not great, they'll scrap entire chunks of the movie, even if it's animated, even if it's whatever. Regardless of that, the individuals that left, of the 100, there was a few that spoke out to Vulture, and they said that they were pushed to work more than 11 hours a day, 7 days a week for more than a year to make up for the time lost, that they were forced to go back to the drawing boards as many as 5 times to revise work during the final rendering stages.
Yeah.
That seems insane.
Yeah.
That's life of the animator, though.
I mean, when you get something like, I guess, that movie, or even Into the Spider-Verse, I wonder if it was like a lesser version of the type of work, like the work environment they were in for Into the Spider-Verse. But it's like a less version of that, not as intense. I mean, you can translate that to like the video game industry.
Yeah.
And like people are working like a lot.
Unbelievable hours to push these
to put these games out.
Yeah, and then they will release an unfinished game and charge you $100 for it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, any capitalistic industry can be like that, but it's weird because in a movie like this, or even a lot of movies, you can consider it like a cross section of capitalism and art.
Yeah.
Where this is a very artistically driven film. This is a very, very, I don't know. It just feels different. Like it feels like it's on another level.
Yeah. And this is what it took to do it.
Exactly. You know, the sacrifice of all these people.
I wonder if those people are bitter or have a chip on the shoulder, for this movie after being like.
That's interesting. That's an interesting question.
Worked to death, essentially, and like I'm not gonna watch it.
Part of me, like if I was in part of that and I just threw the towel in, and I would almost look at it and go, well, I'm glad it turned out like that, because I just didn't have it in me to take that shit anymore. But I'm glad that the world has this, because it really is. It's something fantastic.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the over 1,000 artists and techs had worked across the Spider-Verse, and a message from the executives, Michelle Grady, the executive VP and general manager for Sony Pictures Imageworks.
They're all lying.
You're not far off. But she agrees, and she says that Lord is not to blame for the delays. He's the main messenger for the editorial changes coming from the 3 code directors, but the executive producers, Lord and Miller, and the studio, they're the target for the ire. So what she's saying is blame the 3 directors. They changed the story.
Okay.
We're just the ones bringing it to the animators. And she says, quote, "It really does happen on every film. Truly, honestly, it can be a little bit frustrating, but we always try to explain that this is the process. One of the things about animation that makes it such a wonderful thing to work on is that you get to keep going until the story's right," she adds.
Yeah.
"If the story isn't right, you have to keep going until it is. And to the workers who felt demoralized by having to revise final renders 5 times in a row, the Spider-Verse producer says, quote, I guess, welcome to making a movie."
I mean, yeah, it is just like, well, take that type of work and just take it to a non-animated movie. And if they're trying to make it good, like a Kubrick movie, like he did like a shit ton of takes, right?
Yeah.
Ruined Malcolm McDowell's eyes, or whatever his name is, by prying him open.
Yeah.
Or traumatized
Shelley Duvall.
Well, we got The Shining.
Yeah, it's weird because there are laws that are put into place for limitations like that on sets, like 12-hour days and
12
blah, blah,
on,
blah.
12 off.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. I don't know if they have that for animation, you know? If you're working, in theory, if you're working from home, are you on or are you choosing to do this?
Yeah. I mean, that's just the nature of their work too. Cause they have, like, to make the movie, they have to, you know, and to type and move the mice around.
Yeah. All you're doing is clicking some buttons. What are you complaining about? That's the most boomerist take. I wonder, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, how many animators do they need for this? Yeah, how many do you think?
Couple.
2 or 3. You think like
well, they said 1,000 or something.
That's 1,000 people in the total production.
Oh, okay.
For animators, you think,
because there's different type of animators.
Yeah.
There's environmental animators. There's character animators.
think like 150, 200.
I mean, yeah.
It says they lost 100 throughout the course of it, so it's like this rotating door. So let's just say every one of them gets, I don't know, $350,000.
Okay.
And you
damn.
And you just say, hey, I'm going to give you $350,000. This movie has to come out by this date. If you don't finish it by this date, you don't get the money. And just let them go free. That's like you're on salary at this point. Let them do it. Would there be the same objections? Is it because of the long hours and the pay doesn't match it, or is it long hours along with good pay?
I don't even know if that's legal.
I don't know. It's a contract, you know. That's contract work.
I know, but you get paid to do a job, and you do it. Doesn't matter how good or bad it is.
Let's just say you get paid $100,000 to get this movie out by, to get this movie to me.
Okay.
If you get it by this date, we'll make that $350.
Oh, okay.
They do that with construction crews when freeways collapse. They're like, okay, we're going to give you, to $15 million to finish this project. For every hour that you beat our deadline of 2 weeks, you get another $150,000.
There's incentive.
Yeah, there's an incentive to it. They did that when the 880 collapsed around Berkeley.
Oh yeah.
They got it done in half the time, and they netted themselves like an extra 15 million or something on the project. And the traffic started flowing.
Yeah.
It worked. And it's going to collapse in 6 weeks.
I mean, if you're given, they're probably, I hope that they were paid pretty well.
I would imagine so. Top tier animators.
Hundreds of animators. And I'm just imagining just like a big room of just a sea of computers and people just doing this.
You just hear this constantly. You're like, well, how are you animating while you're typing?
Yeah.
How do you animate with a keyboard?
Maybe they did work from home. I have no idea. I don't know the process. The process of animating a movie, any movie, is like, okay, I'm gonna because they got to keyframe all this shit. I mean, I'm sure there's codes and like certain formulas that you enter, and then does like character walk, character run, But then there's like the manipulation of like how do they run? How much weight is in their step? How does their body move when they run or walk?
Penguin Tamer in the chat says that the animators were probably on contract and took their IP with them when they left. Well, that's interesting. Like maybe the stuff that they animated, they were able to take with them. So that's what caused the delays. Interesting. I'm not sure.
They took it. Fine.
It's all it's all very confusing to me.
Yeah.
It's all this theoretical. The animation is in theory. It's there. It's in a computer somewhere.
It's magic to me.
Yeah, I know, and that makes me even more respect the actual process because it's phenomenal. You haven't seen it yet, right?
No.
Oh fuck, man, so good. Kev Van says he's seen it tonight. I'm so excited for you. It is great. Anything else?
No, I don't have anything.
All right, let's get to some streaming picks.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, I do. Disney Plus. Oh, HBO Max. If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime?
I like Netflix.
You found the pick.
Streaming picks. Movies that are streaming on our streaming services that we watched this week. You can too. Joseph, what do you have for us this week?
So once again, I've found myself having a busy week, and so I don't have any conventional like movies to stream pick, but I do want to talk about a specific genre of media
Okay.
that you can watch on like Netflix or HBO or Discovery or something. And these ones are the ones that I'm going to refer to on Netflix, and these are nature documentaries. And just want to talk about them because I was watching David Attenborough's Our Planet.
Okay,
Our Planet 1 and Our Planet 2 just dropped.
Oh, sweet.
And Earth 1, and now it's Earth 2. And just when you think like how much more can we talk about as far as like the world and orcas and or turtles, like
I know
how
everything
many
about killer
scenes
whales.
How many scenes of baby turtles do we have to watch of them being birthed and then try to make it to the water before they get snatched up by another bird or or a crab?
Okay.
But just when you think you've seen enough of that, there's another one.
I can watch that shit all day.
But so like these they're not movies, they're just like sort of episodic
nature docs.
Some of them are like hour, maybe a little or over an hour. But if you like, they're the perfect thing to watch for anybody, just like in general, because I feel like not only will you get excellent cinematography, you'll get a bunch of little mini stories of these following these animals, certain animals, these snow leopards and tigers and birds that are like, this bird can't find any food. This bird is trying to take care of its baby.
Yeah, they like create a narrative that you're like, after I finish watching a nature doc, sometimes I'm like looking at the birds outside and I'm like, I wonder what his story is. I wonder what he's doing right now.
And so you're getting great cinematography, you're getting fantastic narration from David Attenborough, and you're getting wonderful stories. And it's like it fits, these documentaries, they fit within the category of every genre, because you will laugh, you will cry, you will be scared, it will be tragic,
triumphant.
It will be triumphant. You'll root for one and not the other, and then but then when the ultimate like tiger chasing down the buffalo or another prey is like gets away, or they get the prey, it's like you're rooting for both sides at the same time, because that's just how the nature of nature. And I like, there are certain parts of this, like for example, there was the one we were watching, an episode, it was about this walrus and her calf, I think is what and they are trying to find, it's just a mother and her child.
Oh, so they're trying to find like a space in the ice to breathe or something?
Yes, they're trying to find a place to rest, and the child cannot get onto this ice thing because it's not big enough. They can't do it. And there's this shot of the fucking walrus cradling this baby walrus. And it's like lovingly, and it's just like, oh my god,
it really blows my mind, some of the shots they get.
It got me. And but like these nature docs is the ones that are done well, mainly these David Attenborough ones, which are just all over the world, is just so like impressive how they do it. And after that, I watched they released an hour-long behind the scenes of Our Planet.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And so you have camera crews following camera crews and different parts of the world. And there was one where they were trying to get shots of a Siberian tiger. And so they built these little wooden huts in the woods in Russia.
Okay.
And these little wooden huts that are like probably like the square footage of like from this wall to like this couch.
Okay.
Like the end of this couch, like
Right.
from this wall to like maybe the end of the table.
Okay.
And so they have their bed in there, their bucket in there, their camera in there, and
yikes.
and it's like probably maybe 3 to 5 of them, like sort of spread out, and they set up camera traps around the vicinity and where they are.
Yeah.
And 6 out of 7 days a week, they're in there. They're in there just looking out, trying to
chilling,
trying to find a Siberian tiger for 2 winters.
Jesus Christ.
For 2 winters, they are in there capturing thousands of hours of footage.
How many? Just imagine how many like hard drives and memory cards they have to have.
And it's insane to me. And then like the fact that doing underwater stuff, like I mean, I would never do that. If I was offered, I'd be like, and you won't catch me filming sharks at night.
No, fuck no.
Swimming in the water. But that's what they do. They go in the water. They build this little drone thing with attach a big light to it and throw it in the water, and just so they could see the sharks feeding. And then you have the camera guy in there, sort of like following it, trying to find the sharks and stay far enough away. But there are shots of like these filmmakers just surrounded by sharks, like they're just like shoulder to shoulder with these.
What? Do they just like assume the sharks don't like the taste of human?
I mean, I don't know. It's a weird thing.
It seems insane.
It is an insane thing. But then you film like there was this 2 guys filming a blue whale and her calf, just in this really remote area. There was like no other like creatures around.
Yeah.
And they were talking about like the introductory to drones and nature photography and being able to do more with drones and not have to rely on a helicopter.
Yeah.
They could go further out. And like these guys are just like these 2 guys, one's piloting the drone, one's operating the camera. And, they're like right next to each other communicating like pan left, like keep going forward, stop there. And then they like just like the sheer joy that they get from like getting the shot is just like I have not ever shot anything of that high in stakes, and like we need to get this shot for this nature doc.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like
so we don't get this shot, we're gonna stay late tonight.
It's like I'm shooting this beer, I wasn't in focus. And but like just the sheer excitement and joy they get out of like getting the shot, and then you see the shot and it looks like fantastic. It's like so impressive. And these people in Greenland filming glaciers falling, people in the helicopter who are operating the camera, like flying around a glacier that is like capsizing,
flipping over,
basically.
Yeah, the calving.
It's insane, and like it's probably the most like majestic thing that you could probably ever experience.
Kevin says, "Getting paid to sit around and film, count me in."
In the Siberian forest.
Yeah, you got to get Skyrim on Switch to play the whole time.
Yeah. But like, the movie took 4 years to make, and you have these people trekking through mosquito-infested jungles in swamps and stuff, trying to film an orangutan and her baby, and just like watching this guy like knee deep in swamp with this camera that's like half the size of the camera is the lens.
Yeah, and
then you can't drop the camera. You're carrying it in this big ass, like probably 30 to 50 pound camera. You have these guys carrying the tripods. You have to set the tripod, mount it to not get the shot, and then do it again to follow the orangutan around
the next day and the next day and the next day.
And for 4 years, all these different people around the world.
They made a movie about this. It's called The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Oh yes, and it actually, honestly, made me want to watch Walter Mitty because the sense of adventure. But,
sure, yeah.
But yeah, Our Planet 2. I mean, Planet Earth 2 is. I mean, they're 2 very different. Both David Attenborough narrated, and the behind the scenes is David Attenborough narrated.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just like. I feel like if you don't know what to watch, like just like put on that.
Yeah, I have a 7 worlds united or something like that. It's like the desert and the underground and the tide pools and the forest, different like 4K disc set.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a 7 disc set, and that's what I use if we're gonna like oh, hey, you want to, like a show off disc, like, hey, here, look at our theater system.
Oh, yeah.
Put on the nature doc and just bask in the glory.
Yeah, I mean that's usually what they have on in like Best Buy or not the show on TVs. Or
I really want my house to look like a Best Buy. It's what it is.
I don't know. That's why you have like 6 TVs just right next to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Downstairs.
I got a bunch of iPhones tethered to my counter. You can't take them, or else the alarm goes off and no one answers for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, but Our Planet 2 is like just came out on Netflix. So it's only like 4 or 5 episodes.
Cool, awesome.
And they're just really fucking really good.
How long are the episodes? Like 45 minutes?
Yeah, 45 to an hour.
Cool.
They're just like so majestic, and like it makes me want to quit filmmaking because of how
You can never do that.
because of how good the cinematography is in those like it's the best cinematography that you could get, because it's so like you can't do it again.
Be curious to see like what somebody like Deakins says. Like, I want to do like a behind the scenes commentary or a disc commentary addendum.
Yeah.
Except for it's like Deakins or somebody like that commenting as they're watching it and be like, yeah, this shot right here, we use something like this for Assassination of Jesse James.
Yeah. I mean, because you can't tell the animals like, can you do that again? Can you can you go back to that spot, blue whale?
Damn.
It's so circumstantial.
All right. Well, for my streaming picks, I have a eclectic selection of films that I watched. First off, from 1983, this is streaming on Hulu and Disney Plus through Hulu. Crackle and Fubo.
Damn.
It's a movie that I've never even heard of before. I was recommended for a movie watching challenge that I watch on Binge Movies. This is called Blue Thunder from 1983. The plot of this, it's Roy Scheider, the main guy from Jaws, or one of the main guys from Jaws. He's a helicopter pilot in Los Angeles for the LAPD, and he has a young Daniel Stern as his second in command. He's training basically to be a operator, an observer, I think, in the helicopter. And Malcolm McDowell is this hotshot British something or other guy who partnered with a military contract program to release this new attack helicopter, this military grade helicopter called Blue Thunder, that they're going to do a trial run in LA, because that's what the LAPD needs, is a fucking military attack helicopter in the city limits. And the story is bananas.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to attach yourself to the protagonist, Roy Scheider, after he takes his rookie on his first day all the way across LA out to Escondido, I believe it's Escondido, and to spy on a woman who does naked yoga every night at 10:30 through her big glass front windows of her building. And she's doing everything you can imagine. You can see taint in this movie.
Oh.
And you're like, this is the hero. This is the helicopter pilot that we want to root for in the end, in the final sequence. And there's a Chekhov's loop, Chekhov's loop-de-loop.
Oh.
Where they reference how, is it true? People tell me you made your helicopter in the do a loop. You looped a helicopter. And he goes, people say a lot of things. And he's like, is it true? And then someone goes, it can't happen. It's physically impossible. Physics won't allow it. And of course, in the final helicopter chase scene, there's a loop.
Oh.
Surprise. But the last 30 minutes of the movie is a 30-minute long practical effects helicopter chase and fight scene. There's multiple helicopters involved. There's at least 5 helicopters, I think 6 helicopters involved in this sequence. And he goes all over LA, slices a car in half with the rail gun, like the minigun of this Blue Thunder helicopter. And basically he's trying to uncover...
This Top Gun with helicopters.
Kind of, but set in LA. And it's written by the same guy that wrote Alien.
Alien,
yeah.
Oh.
And I think he had some writing in Aliens.
I thought Ridley
well.
Scott wrote Alien.
It's let's see here. It was, I can't remember the guy's name. It's like Mad Dog something or other. But the actual plot of it is, I mean, the script is bad, the characters are bad, but the 30-minute fight scene or helicopter chase scene at the very end is absolutely worth it for the entire runtime of the movie. Dan O'Bannon.
Sounds like Bullet.
Kind of.
Like
Yeah.
the chase scene at the end of it's like
It felt like a little bit of like this, a little bit of schlocky version like Bullet or Magnum Force or Dirty Harry or something like that, you know. So Alien was written by Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Shusett.
Oh, okay.
And Dan O'Bannon was involved with this as well. He wrote this as well.
Dan O'Bannon.
I think it's Screaming Dan O'Bannon or Wild Dan O'Bannon or something like that. They had nicknames for people in the 80s.
Okay.
So anyways, that's Blue Thunder streaming on Hulu. If that sounds interesting to you, give it a watch. If you're like, this does not sound like my thing, then you're not going to enjoy it. It is a wild action ride with some weird characters. And next up, I watched a animated movie that I've seen before, and I remember liking it well enough, but I freaking loved it this time that I watched it. This is streaming on Paramount Plus from 2011, Rango, starring Johnny Depp. Rango is a chameleon.
Oh,
He's a chameleon. He's a lizard, and he's in his little fish tank, and he's in the back of a car as his family that owns him is transporting somewhere, and they hit a speed bump, and he falls out of the car, and he's now in the middle of the desert. And the voice cast is such: Johnny Depp, Isla Fisher, Ned Beatty, Bill Nighy, Abigail Breslin, Alfred Molina, Stephen Root, Harry Dean Stanton, Timothy Olyphant, Ray Winstone, Ian Abercrombie, and the list goes on.
To Ray Winstone. Was Harry Dean Stanton dead?
I don't know if he's dead now.
Ray Winstone is.
Is he? Did he die recently?
I think so.
He was just in Puss in Boots. He was Papa Bear.
Was he?
Yeah, he was
Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
Well, this is directed by Gore Verbinski, and this is a really, really good movie. It has some like Mexican lore, the spirit of the West involved. There's a mysterious, you know, have you ever heard of the walking rocks or traveling rocks, wandering rocks in the desert? There's a phenomenon where the rocks will look like they've walked, like they've moved, and it's in the middle of a desert, just dry desert, and you'll see almost like drag marks, but it's dozens of rocks sometimes. And they found out what it is when the rain is just right, it's about a half inch of water on it, and it's the hard pack desert soil, and the wind is over 50 miles an hour, it'll actually slide, but it leaves these drag marks, and it looks like these rocks are wandering somewhere. There's a type of cactus that in Mexican folklore they say that they're searching for their destiny or something like that, and it's the cactuses that kind of bend over, they look like humans hunched over a little bit, and those are characters within the movie too. It's the textures in this are so good, and we're going to talk about Kubo and the Two Strings on the next episode later on this week. If you're the podcast listeners, in a few minutes when we're on the stream, and the textures in Kubo were great with the paper and all this kind of stuff. In Rango, the textures are phenomenal because all the characters are little small animals. There's desert rats, there's burrowing rabbits, there's little owls, desert owls. There's armadillos, porcupines, all kinds of weird, funky desert animals, and the textures and the grain and the dirtiness and the filth of the film really, really shines through, and it's super fun. So I would highly recommend people, whether you've seen it or not, to go visit this Rango from 2011. And it's a Nickelodeon film. In the production sting at the beginning says the Nickelodeon. And I don't know if I would call this a kid's movie. There's some dark shit in here. Some really dark stuff. There's killer larger animals, like predatory animals that are preying on some of these small animals. And the one thing I don't like about this, they make the tortoise the villain. Do not like that. They have a California desert tortoise. Looks pretty accurate. Is the villain. Not a fan. Not a fan. Bad representation to the turtle population. So okay, so that's again streaming on Paramount Plus. And the other movie that I watched streaming also on Paramount Plus is a new release from 2023, now streaming for free, Renfield. Have you seen Renfield?
It's on
Paramount Plus.
Peacock.
Oh, is it? You're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's on Peacock.
I've not watched it yet.
Oh man, I'm really curious to hear what you think about this, because the reviews that I'm getting from some of my big movie friends are either "Wow, what a fun ride" to "This was dog shit," and is a disgrace to the Dracula name. I fucking loved this. I thought it was really fun. It is way gorier than I thought it was going to be. it's way more action centric than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's kind of like have you seen The Sorcerer's Apprentice, Jay Baruchel?
No.
I think it's Sorcerer's Apprentice.
With Vin Diesel?
Vin Diesel?
No, wait.
That's the Last Witch Hunter.
Oh, okay. But Nicolas Cage is in the one you're talking about, the Apprentice one.
I think so. Yes, it felt kind of like that, where it's like this known property, and they turn it into like an action adventure thing. A lot of fighting, hand to hand combat, fighting and stuff.
Yeah.
But Nicholas Hoult plays Renfield, plays his familiar, Dracula's familiar, and Dracula, played by Nicolas Cage, is so great. He is loving this. You could tell he's having such a fun time with the character. And they do different iterations of Dracula. They show him back in the day and how he got, brought into the modern era and all this stuff. And he was injured and had to like nurse himself back to health, or Renfield had to help him nurse himself back to health. And all the iterations of his like decaying body before he's like powerful again are so gross. And Ben Schwartz plays a mob, the son of a mob boss, mob matriarch.
Yeah.
She's like, there's like a Russian or Italian mob queen, and Ben Schwartz plays her son, and he's a great character too. He's pretty funny.
It's like his character in What We Do in the Shadows.
Ben Schwartz?
Yeah.
Is he in What We Do in the Shadows?
Yeah.
The show?
Yes.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen some of the episodes, but not all of it.
Oh, okay.
He kind of plays.
He plays a vampire in What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He plays a heightened. He plays like a more annoying version, or a more emboldened version of his character from Music, where he's got the braids and he's a drug dealer.
Oh, yes. I forgot that he was in that.
Yeah, for a minute. He's like, I don't want to have to hurt you, but if you don't pay me back, I have to hurt you. And I don't want to do that. He's driving.
Such a weird.
I know.
But a strange character.
Anyway, Renfield is super fun. They do some weird, like, they take liberties with the story. And these are not spoilers, but Renfield has a small part because he's a familiar. He has a small fraction of Dracula's power.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen that has abilities.
He does, and then there are like superhero abilities. Like he can punch you a hole through you, But he can only do that after he feeds on the life force of bugs. That's what he says. Instead of
like he eats bugs.
He eats bugs.
Oh, okay.
So Dracula eats humans. Renfield eats bugs, so he keeps like a little box of bugs in his pocket in case he needs to power up or whatever.
Oh, okay.
It's a complete subversion. It's not what I thought at all, but it is really, really fun. And this is probably the least I've hated Awkwafina in a movie since what's the one where her grandma's dying, but no one's gonna tell her. Yeah, The Farewell. She was great in The Farewell because she's playing it straight, but I feel like she's sometimes a little draining. In this, she was really, really fun and just perfect. It was great. The whole movie was super fun. I would highly recommend people to watch that. And if you don't like it, too bad. You don't like fun. If you don't like that movie, you just don't like fun. It's fun. It's like good hard R fun.
Yeah.
So
Kevin says that Bowser is bad turtle representation.
I don't know. That's probably that's like the alpha male turtle representation.
It's weird to look at him as Bowser and like that's a turtle and not a dragon.
Well, he has a shell.
Yeah, but I guess a turtle is kind of like a dragon with a shell, a little bit. Like if you put a shell on a Komodo dragon, it'd be like a big turtle.
I guess so. I guess that's right. But that's all I got. Anything else you want to say?
No.
No. Okay.
Tyler, I hope that jam is good.
Yeah, I was at a jam festival. We're not sure what kind of jam, but we're assuming the jelly jam.
Yeah.
All right. So until next time. Well, first, thank you to our cool OCR duties over on Patreon. That's Javier, listener Steven, Heather Sachs, Ryan Corbett, and Chris. If you want to support us financially, go to the Patreon page, patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass. You should also support Stab Comedy, who's hosting us today. Twitch.tv/Tab Comedy. You can subscribe there. You can support by going to some in-person theater performances, whatever you like to do. Until next time. Thank you for listening to us, Gab and Chatter. Follow us later on in the week if you're in the podcast world as we review Kubo and the Two Strings. If you're in Twitch land, just sit tight. We'll be back in about 15 minutes. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Twitter at Podcast MCFC and on TikTok at Middle Class Film Class.
And what does Tyler say?
Leave us a voicemail. The number's in the show notes.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Twitch. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Delicate man, and it's a sad, sad world. When a girl will break a boy just because she can. Don't you tell me to deny it. I done wrong, I won't suffer for my sins. I've come to you 'cause I need guidance to be true. Before it ends, just tell me where to begin. Ooh, all I need is a good defense, 'cause I'm feeling like a criminal. And I need to be redeemed to the one I sinned against, 'cause he is all I ever knew of love. Heaven help me for the way
Is it on? Okay.
Hey, pretty baby, with them high heels on, you give me fever like I never ever known. You're just a product of loveliness. I like the groove of your walk, your talk, your dress. I feel your fever from miles around. I pick you up in my car and we'll fade the town. I just kiss me, baby, and tell me twice that you're the one for me. Yeah, the way you make me feel, you really turn me on. You knock me off of my feet now, baby. My lonely days are gone. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I like the feeling you're giving me, baby. Just hold me, baby, and I'm in ecstasy. Oh, I'll be working from that 9 to 5 to buy you things that'll keep you right by my side. I never looked so in that love before. Just hold me, baby, and love me forevermore. I swear I'm keeping you satisfied, 'cause you're the one, you're
All right,
the
ready?
one for me. The way you make me feel, you really turn me on.
All right, everybody. Hope you had a good break. Hope you're all refreshed. Snacks. Hit the potty. Because Middle Class Film Class is back.
Hello, Twitch. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class Movie Review Edition. I'm your host for today, Pete.
I'm Joseph.
And no Tyler over there. Today, we're going to be reviewing my pick from the Wheel of Destiny from Leica Studios, Kubo and the Two Strings.
If you must blink, do it now. Pay careful attention to everything you see. No matter how unusual it may seem. If you look away, even for an instant, then our hero will surely perish. It's time to follow my own path. My name is Kubo. This is my story.
Your magic is growing stronger, but when we grow stronger, the world grows more dangerous.
You got my attention. I promise I won't even blink. I actually don't think I even can blink. Do I have eyelids?
All right. Kubo and the Two Strings. What an epic trailer that was.
Yeah.
So this is a 2016, I guess you could call it a kids movie. It's an animated movie. It's
Animated Leica movie.
Yeah, it's Leica.
As kids movies as they can be as far as a Leica movie.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. There's some pretty dark elements to this, but compared to other Leica productions, barely scratches the surface.
Yeah.
Leica, of course, has brought us Paranorman, Kubo and the Two Strings, as we're talking about now, and Coraline. What was the other one?
Box Trolls.
Yeah, the Box Trolls for
and
sure.
Missing Link.
Ah, that's the one. I always get that mixed up with Littlefoot and Abominable or whatever.
Yeah.
So Missing Link. Haven't seen that one.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm almost a completionist on Leica at this point. And I wanted to watch this movie because Leica has a grand reputation. Loved Coraline. Just one of the most brilliant, dark children's movies you can get. Brought to us by Henry Selick, who also did James and the Giant's Peach, I believe. Another super dark one.
Mm-hmm.
And Paranorman, I stayed far away from Paranorman for a long time. I thought, this is going to stink. I don't want anything to do with it. And Brianna had convinced me last year to watch it. And it was, what a wonderful movie that was. I think that's probably their masterpiece. But Kubo and the Two Strings escaped me. I thought the art style looked really cool. I thought there's this kind of historic Japanese culture setting that's behind it. And I thought I wanted to see what it's all about. So put it on the wheel. 4 months later, here we go.
Yeah.
And as you can hear, no Tyler over there. He is with the love of his life out in glorious tropical Stockton, California.
Beautiful Stockton.
Yeah, eating jam or something.
Eating or listening to jam.
Yeah, well, one or the other. So let's just go through the cast real quick. We have Charlize Theron, which is Mother. Art Parkinson playing Kubo. Matthew McConaughey playing Beetle. Ray Fiennes voicing the Moon King. Brenda Vaccaro voicing Kameo. Kari Haruki Tagawa voicing Hashi. Merrick Murphy voicing Mary. George Takei as Hosato. And Rooney Mara as the sisters. There's a couple other voice cast in here, but those are kind of the main players. Directed by Travis Knight. Written by Mark Hames, Chris Butler, and Shannon Tyndall. This is your first time, not your first time watching
Not
this?
my first time.
Okay.
No.
Do you think we should call Tyler first? Do you think we should
do his thoughts first?
Yeah, let's see. I don't even know if I have the Bluetooth connected to the board. Why don't you give me your thoughts?
Okay.
While I figure that out.
Figure this out. Okay. Kubo and the Two Strings. So this is the second time I'm watching this. The first time was a while ago. This movie came out in 2016?
17.
Okay.
It is 16. I'm sorry.
2016. And I did not watch this in theaters. I watched it at home. And it sounds like your Bluetooth is connected.
I don't think that's me.
It's not me.
Maybe it's the Zoom.
Oh, maybe. But yeah, the first time that I watched this movie, I feel like it didn't leave much of an impression on me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's obviously very well animated, and as like all Leica productions are, and there's some crazy things about this movie that are just feats in their own.
Mm-hmm.
About the making of this movie. But I don't know. I don't know if like the story just didn't hit me, or I couldn't like really pinpoint what it was about this movie that just didn't really like land on me like right away.
Sure.
When I first watched it, and compared to other Leica movies.
Yeah.
On the second watch, I feel like it did a little bit more for me. It was a little bit stronger in its impact
Mm-hmm.
in my impression on it. left a little bit more of a lasting impression. I think that there's like some really great scenes in this movie, like some really great like fight scenes, and sort of like because it went sort of like a Japanese more like folklore or story setting.
Sure.
They introduced like more sword play and like the I guess like the animals like the monkey and the beetle and stuff, and the fight scenes between like the sisters and stuff are really cool. And like the beginning of the movie is fantastic. But on the second watch, I like really couldn't remember a whole lot of what happened.
The story seemed fresh.
Yeah, for the most part. But yeah, I think it's not. I don't think it's their strongest movie. I think it had a lot. Like the characters are really cool. Like some of the characters are really well, I don't know, portrayed, presented, animated.
Yeah.
And I think that story-wise, it was maybe just a little kind of, I don't know, just not completely solid, or not as I don't want to say not as deep, but not as
it feels rich.
Not as rich as like Paranorman or Coraline. Like the lore, there's like it was like all this lore is here.
Yeah.
But I feel like they didn't really tap into as much as they could have. But overall, like it's still an enjoyable movie, and it's really impressive. And I think that it's still definitely worth your time for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how I landed on this time. Liked it a little bit more than the first time.
Alrighty. So before I give mine, let's give Tyler a call. He says he's ready. He says I've just finished my second jam taco, and I'm ready.
I don't know if he's lying. If this is a bit that he's doing.
Yeah, he didn't say that. Don't worry.
Okay.
Let's see if he answers.
Jam taco.
Hello, Tyler.
Oh, he's there already.
Are you guys spinning right now?
We're on internet TV right now. How's it going, buddy?
You're on internet television.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
How's Stockton?
Oh, it's fantastic weather. It's fantastic weather. I've been trying to let the listeners, classmates, and viewers in. I'm at a jam festival right now, and trying all assortments of jams. Got pecan, raspberry,
pecan jam,
boysenberry,
pecan jam.
Yeah.
What the hell is pecan jam?
You can't even fathom how many iterations of jams there are. But yeah, no, it's great. And I also took a class on how to make jams. I'm becoming a jam guy now. I'm going to start making jam. So get ready for Christmas. I'm making jams.
This is what you abandoned us for? To go make pecan jam?
That's right.
He didn't watch the movie, so he's like, I gotta get him. I can find an excuse to get out of here.
That's not true at all. That's not true at all. I didn't watch the movie. Oh God, no. I wish I do miss you guys. I wish I was there, but yeah, I had some jam business to attend to.
Did you watch the movie?
Yes, of course I did. I wouldn't
yes.
falling into the show. I wouldn't be in the show if I didn't watch the movie.
All right.
And if we're going to our initial thoughts.
Yeah, this is your initial thoughts segment right now.
This is my initial thoughts. Okay, I loved it. I loved it. It was incredible.
Oh, good.
Let me ask you guys this though, because I didn't really do a whole lot of research on this movie. Was this a claymation movie?
Yes, it's stop motion.
Stop motion. I don't know if it's particularly
stop
clay.
Motion or claymation?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's people who brought you Coraline and Paranorman and
yeah.
Box trolls. It was like Jesus Christ. Like like at some points of the movie, like I thought like it was computer animated. It was so well done.
What was the emotional impact with you? Did it hit you?
Well, so I don't know. Like it's I don't think it like emotionally impacted me as much. I thought there were some parts of the movie that were really like the writing was just really well done. And by the way, it's such a star-studded cast. You got Matthew McConaughey, Rooney. What's her? I can't remember her last name. But you have like a bunch of stars in here, but I've never heard of this movie before. It was so good. But like it wasn't like a deeply emotional, impactful sort of film for me. But I really appreciated like the level of effort
the
that went
craftsmanship
into like exactly. I can say it better myself.
The as any listeners that have been following the show for a long time know, Tyler gives bonus points just for trying for movies. Jesus Christ,
wow.
Villain.
Goblin.
Villain laugh.
He just went goblin mode.
Hey, that's offensive.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
But anyways, but in my initial thoughts, I freaking love the movie. Like,
Okay.
and I'm surprised like it's not really like in the echelon of like modern animated. Well, I guess it isn't animated, but like in the modern like films
It was nominated for best animated movie.
Yeah, this is an animated movie. It's just stop motion animated.
Okay.
So
I mean, like, I haven't heard of it, though. So, like, I just, like, I consider myself a man of the people. So, so if I haven't heard of it, then I'm guessing most of the general population hasn't either.
Let me ask you this: do you have to have your haircut? Is it a requirement to attend this jam festival? Do you have your haircut done by an elected official like you? Is this an upper echelon, upper crust festival that us casuals are not allowed to be in?
Are you rubbing elbows with Newsom over there?
Yeah.
Sharing jam together, making jam together like pottery.
Yeah. Well, Newsom, he texted me. He's like, "I'm so sorry, I can't make it. I got a live Twitch stream to watch called Middle Class Film Class." But
is he saved in your phone under G News?
You saved him as settings.
Yeah. No, I call him I call him the G.
The G man.
Yeah, G man, right? But yeah, no, so anyways, we're getting off topic here.
Okay, continue.
So that's really like I can't really say anything much without going into like the meat of the review. But like, yeah, I love it. I think it is an incredible film that deserves more recognition, even though, as Joseph said, it was nominated for an Academy Award. It deserves more recognition within the general populace. I love it. Like, it's great.
Nice, good. Why don't give your grading? Actually, go ahead and give your grade now. What do you grade? What do you grade?
Give my grade
Kubo?
right now?
Yeah, give it right now. Yeah, Kubo and the Two Strings.
A+.
A+.
All the way.
Really? Wow.
A+ all the way.
All right.
It was like I was blown away by this movie, and I kicked myself for not even seeing it in the theaters. Like, I was just like, what the, like, how did I not know this existed? Oh, which, by the way, I'm gonna go to the theater today and see Past Lives. What do you think about that?
Past Lives?
Oh, Past Lives, yeah.
I don't know what that is.
It's a directorial debut from this filmmaker. It's A24 production. It's at the Tower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Tower only.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, I'm getting some Greek food. Gonna fill my belly up with Greek food and watch that movie. But anyways, I'm getting off topic here. Yeah. Kubo and the Two Strings. Well, I don't. Oh yeah. You know what? It's kind of clicking with me. I know why they call it Two Strings now. But
yeah, it's the
anyway,
two strings around the wrist. Yeah.
Because I was thinking of the instrument, and there's 3 strings on that instrument.
You're like, this is bullshit.
I'm no mathematician.
But anyways, yeah.
But
yeah. But anyways, no, I loved it. I'm so glad that we were able to watch it and kibitz about it.
Good, awesome. And you'll enjoy your festival. Try to get me some asparagus jam while you're there, please.
I will try. Wait, you're already hanging up the clam on me?
What do you want? What more do you want? You're not here.
Did you already review the movie? Like,
no, do you know how this show works, Tyler?
I do know, but like you're already hanging up the clam on me. I'm just,
You're not here. We're gonna do a whole phone review.
Yeah,
while
I
you're-
thought I was gonna be sitting in my car for 45 minutes talking about this.
No. It's 10 minutes at best. Well, how long is it? How long?
You gotta leave Sabrina out there in Stockton alone.
I know.
She's sitting out my car right now, giving me the stink eye.
she's
For
standing,
45
she's standing outside of the car while you're in it.
You locked yourself in the car.
Yeah, I got the AC blowing on my face. Okay, well, all right, well that's.
What
that's
do you have?
fine,
No,
that's
if you have more to say it. But I want to give you get your initial reaction, and then we're gonna go into the main review.
I love the show. Like, one thing that I have a complaint about is like it gets too like kid movie-ish, like at some points. And
how so?
Well, it's just like the dialogue and everything.
Well, a movie
like,
that's
it's
geared
like,
towards children gets a little too kid movie.
well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it just with the subject matter that is presented, like it seems really like deep, and then it kind of like veers off into like like kiddish movie, and then goes into deep territory. The villains, the sisters, that they were terrifying. That was a terrifying.
Yeah, they're
villain.
pretty creepy. Have you? Let me ask you this:
yeah.
Have you seen Paranorman?
I have not. No,
Have
I've
you-
heard great things about it though.
Have you seen Coraline?
Yes, I have seen that one.
Okay, and there was it surprising to you the dark nature of the movie, knowing that this came from the same studio of Coraline? Because that movie's dark.
That movie is dark. That movie is incredibly dark. But yeah, no, this movie is just is a dynamite movie. I really love it, and I hope that anyone within the sound of my voice watches this movie based on this. And I can't wait to hear the episode.
Cool. No, it's give us an honest review once next week when you come back. Hopefully, maybe we'll see
if you make it back from Stockton.
Yeah, if you guys make it out of there alive.
I know. I'm gonna. I'm fighting for my life right now. I have all this
Like R. Kelly.
jam.
and what was I gonna say? So next episode, you need to rate this show, having being an outside observer now, not part of the show.
Oh, rate the show. Too.
Yeah. So once you listen to the whole,
okay.
Once you listen to the whole show, next week we're gonna rate it. Okay.
Yeah, no problem at all. I listen to every episode. I sound like a goddamn listener instead. Come on.
Hey, you know what? You're out there with the listeners. You're not up here in the studio.
That's right.
The sacrifices you make for love.
Yeah, I know. All right, guys. Well, it's been a gay old time. I'll see you guys next week.
All right. It's later, buddy.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
What a delight. Old Tyler. I think I figured out finally what they meant by the two strings. So Kubo and the Two Strings for me. First watch. And I got to say, I was a little disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little disappointed in the storytelling, in some of the like the side characters. These animated movies tend to have a lot of fun side characters that with unique, distinct personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And Kubo himself is the de facto. He's the Mario of this franchise. Not much to him. He's just a kid.
Yeah.
He's got the one eye and he's got the emo haircut, right?
You can control paper.
Yeah, but he's got that cool power. And for one, no one seems to be that impressed by the thing. They're like, "Oh, cool, let's watch the thing." And I thought they were going to give him money afterwards, or at least a back rub or something. And they're just like, "Okay, see you tomorrow. Same thing tomorrow." He's like, this power, this all-wielding power coming from this 3-stringed instrument.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do the research. I didn't look up what it's called. I'm sure it's a traditional name, but this power that he wields in that is something to be feared and respected. And they just take advantage of him. These townspeople, they're like, "Hey, do a flaming chicken, fire throwing chicken."
Yeah,
and
it's like Gandalf with the fireworks.
Yeah. But that part, I mean, that didn't really bug me per se. But like, there weren't enough like interesting side characters to feel like the world was this fully lived in world. It felt like there's the village, and then there's this winter landscape, and then you're back to the village.
Mm.
And they do have the ocean, which is a cool ocean journey. And I would say that the ocean trip and the time they spend underwater, it would be pretty high up on like boat scenes for me, because that's, for one, the ship really fantastic. But I'm going into the full review here. But at the end of the day, my biggest gripe was that this grand tale of this god that comes to Earth in the form of Kubo's mother and gives up her
power.
What's the word? Immortality.
Yeah.
To come slum it amongst us casuals on the Earth, and bang down this guy with the cool armor and have Kubo. That story is very cool, and I would love to have seen that actual story happen and the epic fight scene that accompanies it and all that stuff. But what we're told it from a third party perspective using origami, which I loved. I loved the origami, but it leaves a lot to be desired about like the actual intensity of the battles. All these stories they're telling, like a puppet show, is little couple slices here. There was a grand battle, ching 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 ching, and then that's it. And then I fell, and she fell, or whatever, or he looked into my eyes. It's like a real grand battle shown on screen would have been much more entertaining and would have been more awe-inspiring. But we're left with really just these small retellings, which are a pale comparison to the real story. So that's probably my biggest gripe about it.
Yeah.
Still liked it. Still thought it was pretty good. And there were some, like you said, individual scenes which felt very cool. Skeleton fight scene.
Yeah.
The underwater eyeballs. That was pretty tense and pretty terrifying. And then the villain of the sisters was very good. So overall, pretty good. Lower end of the Leica spectrum.
Yeah.
I'd probably put this, and I'm not a huge fan of the box trolls. I think it's good. But the vibe of the movie just didn't quite land on me as much as the rest of Leica's catalog. I'd probably put it at below even box trolls. So, got to watch Missing Link and round out the bottom. So that's that.
Yeah.
Did you stick around for the end credits?
Is there end credits? I didn't know.
There's, just the credits itself are playing, and
like the scenes that are playing within the credits?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I kind of watched it, but not.
So there's a song that's playing throughout the credits.
Oh, yeah. While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Yes. And I was like, this is a pretty cool, like a Japanese folklore version. This is the real version. This is like the live version. Eric Clapton and all these guys. It's
a Beatles song, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to say Paul McCartney wrote it. Yeah. But there's been so many covers and renditions and live performances.
Oh, there he is.
There he is, Paul McCartney.
He's playing the piano. What the fuck?
I know. Hey, he's not the piano man. That's Billy Joel.
Oh, my piano gently weeps.
Yeah, there's a version too that has Prince, Tom Petty, Steve Winwood, Jeff Lynne, like everybody
How
playing.
many guitars do you need?
A lot. We need more guitars.
It's called Gently Weeps.
But they do the Japanese like version of that or whatever. And I really liked that. I thought it was pretty masterfully done.
Yeah.
Using the historical instruments, for that version. Here, let's get this out of here.
Oh, okay.
Before we get copyright stricken.
Yeah. Let me just pause it.
Yeah. You need to fade out.
Oh. Production.
That's right. We're live. But yeah, I really liked that part of it. And they showed in the after credit scene, they show building the giant skeleton.
Oh yeah, 18 feet.
Yeah, it was very cool, and it's robotic.
Yeah,
it's not like they're stop motioning it; they're using machinery to move the robot. So it is traditional animation shot on camera, moving of this individual set piece while the creatures around it are stop motion.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, to even think to implement that into the movie and like thinking like, how are we gonna do this? We have this giant skeleton who's modeled after like a Japanese demon, and it's gonna be 18 feet, so it's almost 20 feet tall skeleton. It's gonna be in this warehouse. Then we have to blend it with stop motion. I don't even how the technical things about that. I just don't even know wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, I wonder if it's I wonder if it was faster or added more to the production by having it robotic or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
I seemed a few points in the animation. It did seem like there was animated pieces composited on top of each other instead of one set like stage,
the
animation stage. Do you notice at the final fight sequence with Grandpa Moon Knight Grandpa or whatever?
Moon Knight, yeah.
He's he turns into that sky worm from Avengers.
Yeah,
and he's flying around, ghost flying Avengers worm. And when it zooms in on Kubo, and Kubo's chilling in the foreground, you can absolutely see those two composited against each other because you can see the texture of the flying lizard dragon thing.
Yeah.
It turns into... Oops.
Tyler's calling again.
No.
Let me on the show.
It turns into a composite sort of you could see the grain on the image of the lizard creature where Kubo looks nice and smooth or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know, kind of interesting.
Well, if it looks weird to you, it was intended.
Oh, we're just doing that now
because we're in the Kubo zone.
We're in the Flash zone. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I see why like the movie was kind of like forgettable for me for the first time I watched it, because there just wasn't a lot there. I guess it wasn't a lot to remember other than like the characters. I mean, Kubo isn't. I mean, his name isn't. I even totally forgot that his grandpa was the whole reason.
Yeah.
It all came back to me when I was starting to watch it, but like I was like watching it again, and I was like, good, Deanna remembered more than me watching it, and she's like, okay, so that's the monkey is her mom, his mom, and Beetle is his dad. I'm like, well, then who's this lady?
Yeah.
I was like, and then part of me fabricated this like false storyline. I was like, oh wait, oh yeah, she kidnapped him, and I was like, I'm totally making up something that
really?
I thought that I remembered, but
I thought that for a second too. I was like, oh, maybe that woman before wasn't his mom.
Yeah,
and she kidnapped him and she's supplanted herself as mother, and the monkey is actually the mom. But
yeah,
there were some pretty funny lines from McConaughey's character of the Beetle.
Yeah.
Where he's like, after they discover that and they're sitting in the cave, and he goes, oh, I guess you take more after your dad, huh?
Yeah.
Because he's like, hey, she's a monkey.
It's, I don't know if I missed something or if they knew it the whole time or if Kubo knew it the whole time, but like the monkey and the Beetle, like his parents,
they don't know.
They don't know that they're his parents.
They don't know until they're reminded. And as soon as they're reminded, it's like it all rushed back to them.
Yeah.
Would have been nice to see that. A little sequence, like a little flash sequence of the memories kind of blowing through their head.
I think it definitely reminded me of like, you know, that game It Takes Two, which is like a co-op, like a couch co-op online co-op game where it's like a mother and a father who have been like shrunk down into like little yarn dolls, and like you have to like, it's like a Little Big Planet or Yarn or whatever. Kind of reminded me of that a little bit, the parental part of it, but it's like from the parental's point of view.
Yeah.
Where they're just like trying to overcome their differences and be good parents. But it kind of reminded, like this movie kind of reminded me of that a little bit, like the themes, I guess, in that story or that game.
What's it called? It Takes Two?
It Takes Two, yeah.
There's that's what's that also in the Little Honors or Little Hours or Little
Nightmares?
Yeah, Little Nightmares. That's another one that has a very very Leica-esque feelings for
just like
the whole vibe.
Sort of like creepy-esque, this little grotesque. Little Nightmares is a little grotesque, a little bit, but yeah, the themes in Kubo I think were all presented on like a plate to us, but it was like fake food.
Yeah.
Like it was like you're trying to bite into an apple and it's plastic.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of surprising to me that the movie was nominated for Best Animated Picture.
Nothing else came out then.
I mean, maybe
Zootopia was the ultimate, I think, winner.
Maybe it's a smaller pool or whatever, but it felt to me like almost like the direction. It needed somebody at the helm to give it more of a oomph from scene to scene.
This was directed by the owner of Leica, or the guy
Travis Knight.
Yeah, the guy who runs it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so this makes sense now. And he also directed Missing Link.
Oh, did he?
I think so. Either directed it or he is the producer of. I know he's a producer of like almost all of them. Oh no, he directed Bumblebee. Bumblebee. Yeah.
Oh,
which I've heard is very good.
yeah.
He directed that after this, and then nothing else.
No, okay.
The $6 billion Man he's in pre-production for, and Wildwood he's in pre-production for as a director.
Oh,
but most of his credits are animation department or producer.
oh okay.
So yeah, it felt like, when you watch Paranorman, when you watch Coraline, you feel like you're living in this distinct world, this whole broad, very rich world.
Yeah.
Where every piece of this, short of the ocean sequence with the big wave in the beginning, very impressive. The splitting of the wave with her superpowers was really great. And I was like, oh, this movie's going to be full of stuff like that. And they use it very sparingly. So the rest of it is, it just feels like you don't see any like really big wide shots of this Japanese landscape.
Yeah.
And they could have made the entire world out of origami paper, maybe to, try to create a more rich texture of all of it. Maybe that would take away from some of the origami creatures, characters or whatever. But that probably was ultimately my favorite part, was all the little origami knight, the knight, Shinzo.
Yeah.
And
Hanzo,
that's it.
Yeah,
Hanzo. And but as far as like the world building goes, falls pretty far short in comparison.
Yeah, it's a shame because you have all this material to work with. I feel like, and it's definitely a movie that I feel like by accident is impressive because of the nature of the production.
Sure,
not the story. Like it's the longest running stop motion movie. Is I think when it was made. I don't know if anymore.
Really.
And I think, and then the 18-foot skeleton is the biggest like stop motion prop
set piece or whatever.
Yeah, set piece for a stop motion movie to be made. Yeah, I just think that I think that part of it, and like the animation is like fantastic, but like it doesn't make up for sort of a kind of lackluster story, especially when you have this whole like again like this whole
the lore.
You have all of this stuff to work with, and then you just kind of do sort of like a surface level type thing.
So let's go through some trivia we had over here. The boat sequence took 19 months to shoot. Holy shit. Those people that were working on Across the Spider-Verse would have quit long ago.
Yeah.
The skeleton demon was based off of Gasha Dokuro, a Japanese folklore creature. And Kubo himself, just the character, had 48 million possible facial expressions, and a total of 23,000 prototypes were created for him. That seems
excessive.
That really does seem. It seems like they have a billionaire backer that doesn't care if they run out of money.
Oh, interesting.
They could just literally just make a billion possible faces. The boat itself, which was probably the biggest surprise of the whole movie, they run out of paper, and she says, "Paper runs out. Be smart about it," or whatever. And then all of a sudden, all the trees start dropping the leaves. He uses the leaves of the trees to fold into make this leaf origami ship to sail across the lake.
It's like an airbender.
Yeah, that was really cool. I was seeing
paper bender.
And also watching that boat deteriorate as the fight scene went on and the rain was there.
Yeah,
that was pretty interesting and neat too.
Attention to detail, it was good in this movie. On the technical animation side, not the story side.
They used about 250,000 leaves on the boat. Created the boat with clay and then put the leaves over top of it. So if you listen to the director's commentary, Travis Knight says that the movie itself is an homage to Akira Kurosawa and Hayao Miyazaki.
Hayao Miyazaki? Okay.
Yeah. It's an homage. It's not...
I don't know if they would want... Maybe they don't want that... It's okay. You don't have to do that.
Well, it's an homage. It's not like they're trying to best it. Well, maybe they were trying to best it and they failed. And also a little bit to the Beatles, which was captured by the end credits for personal musical memories from the family. The fact that Travis Knight's father owns Nike Knight,
or is the CEO or
whatever it is. Yeah, whatever he is. It starts making a little bit more sense with it, just because there is levels of studio interference that you see on so many projects, and you have to imagine that there are people overseeing this and saying, oh, you need to get this in there, you need to get that in there, you need to have more emotional pathos, you have to have more stakes. And I have a feeling they're just like, hey, we back this whole thing, let us do whatever we want. And there's definitely some missing pieces there. So
missing links.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of no. Okay. Oh, what about the eyeball creatures? Question for that: are those eyeballs all belonging to the giant butthole on the bottom of the ocean that's about to eat Kubo? Or are they like helper eyeballs? Are they eyeballs at the ends of long tentacles?
I don't know if I can answer that for you.
Come on, someone's got to tell me.
Whose butthole is this? Is the eyeballs butthole or the butthole's eyeballs?
I guess so. I don't know. But ultimately, yeah, for me, it's like I'm probably not going to revisit this one.
Yeah, I mean, it took me like 7 years to watch it again, and that's because I had to. Because
I forced you to, yeah. So, I hope my next wheel pick is going to be a little bit more impactful. I think we should do some grades. What do you think?
Really, I feel like that went by really fast.
Yeah, it's almost 2:00.
God damn!
Unless you got anything else to say.
No, not really. Unfortunately.
Yeah, we only got 3 of us here, so
yeah,
we cut this one a little bit short.
Yeah, just kind of like
I hate to like talk down about a movie because it is an impressive movie. It emotionally didn't land very hard, and the expectations are very high for something like that.
It's unfortunate because it is a well-made movie. Like, it looks great, and the feats behind everything is great as well. But it just doesn't. I don't know. It's like it's worth one watch.
Sure. I'm not mad I watched it. I'll put it that way.
Tyler, you love this movie?
Yeah.
A+.
Well, remember he grades based off of effort.
Oh yeah, true.
Kevin says the movie was a C for him.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely like I'm gonna say C+. Yeah, I was about to say B-, but I was thinking of the other Leica movies and where I would like where those would land, and then compared to that, definitely like C+. I'd have to watch like Missing Link again to see if that is higher or lower. I think it was a little bit more enjoyable. It's more of a comedy than like this. This is very dramatic.
Yeah.
And with like the little bit of like humor in it. But yeah, just C+ for sure. Yeah.
I'm also going to go with C+. And I think that probably besides all the stuff we already mentioned, another big detriment to it is that they have these big name voice actors for it. Rooney Mara did a great job, but could have done without Charlize Theron. I felt like she was just really kind of reining it in. Matthew McConaughey was pretty fun, but I feel like that character could have been done better by someone with a little bit more range in his voice.
Yeah.
It didn't sound like McConaughey. And I almost feel like if you're going to get a big name voice actor, get them for what they're known for.
Yeah.
McConaughey's got this smooth, slightly southern draw, very charismatic, very charming. And he's not really a goofball, you know?
Yeah, that is interesting.
The character's a goofball in this movie.
Yeah.
So
get a Charlie Day in there.
I don't know about that. But yeah, I'd say C+ for me. The animation in moments was very, very fantastic. The origami texture and the texture of the boat, just the whole concept of the boat made of leaves was great. And, it was hard to detach. There's a lot of stuff that you're like, this feels very derivative of a lot of other things too. Namely that creature at the end really, really, really looked like the Avengers Skyworm. I could not get it out of my head.
Yeah.
And it's like, that came out years after the Avengers.
Yeah.
So anyway, so C+ for me, C+ for Joseph, A+.
A+ for Tyler.
From Tyler.
He loved it.
That's right. So now it's time for the wheel.
1 wheel, 8 slots, 3 hosts. This is the Wheel of Destiny.
That's right. Kubo and the Two Strings is off the wheel, and I'm going to put on a classic movie that I've never seen before.
Okay.
And I want to give it a shot, see if it's worth it, see what all the hubbub's about. I just bought this on VHS tape so I can watch this.
Okay.
Is the original Dirty Harry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't worry, it's nothing too crazy. I was thinking, should we do Dirty Harry or should we do Death Wish, Charles Bronson's Death Wish?
Isn't there a bunch of those movies?
Yeah, there's a bunch of both of them, actually. I think there's four Dirty Harry movies, and Death Wish, like 1 through 4 or 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
Tyler wants to, Joseph says, Kevin says, let's go anime. No anime this time. Sorry, buddy.
No anime?
No anime, but I have one for my next one. I want to do an anime for the next one. So we're going to recap the wheel for listeners who are new to the show. Penguin Tamer in the chat was asking about how to get on the show, how do I get featured. I want to watch one of the movies with you guys, that sort of thing. Here's how this works. Every week we do Gavin Chatter. We talk, do streaming picks, we talk about news, and then the second half of the episode, the second week, release of the week, we do the review episode, which we're in right now.
Yes.
And we have this Wheel of Destiny, showing it to the screen as we speak. There are 8 slots on it, as the theme song says. 2 for me, 2 for Joseph, 2 for Tyler, and 2 for Patreon picks. Mm-hmm. And once a month we do fan picks. If you want to write in and give us a fan pick, we'll do it. But we do them 3 at a time for dedicated episodes. So it's a truncated episode, but the Patreons get the full shebang. So we're going to give a spin on the wheel and see what we watch next week.
Oh, that's a tight spin.
Tight. I'll loosen up a little bit.
What is it?
It's Dirty Harry.
Oh,
shit.
On and off the board.
On and off. That's a first.
You went from not hosting an
For 4
episode
months.
to hosting 2 episodes in a row, and then you won't be able to host the one following.
Motherfucker, rigged. Kevin says rigged. So yeah, Dirty Harry. Let's take a look, see if it's streaming anywhere, or if you're gonna have to hang out and watch it at my house on VHS.
Dirty Harry. I mean, it should be streaming somewhere.
Let's see, Dirty Harry streaming. Where is it streaming? On Max. Synopsis: when a madman dubbed Scorpio terrorizes San Francisco, hard-nosed cop Harry Callahan, famous for his take-no-prisoners approach to law enforcement, is tasked with hunting down the psychopath. Harry eventually collars Scorpio in the process of rescuing a kidnapped victim, only to see him walk with technicalities. Now the maverick detective is determined to nail the maniac himself. All right.
So, Dirty Harry, Magnum Force, The Enforcer, Sudden Impact, The Deadpool are all
those 5
Dirty Harry movies, which I had no idea.
Oh, interesting.
I thought Dirty Harry was the Dirty Harry.
Oh, it's just
and that's it. And Magnum Force was just like all of the subsequent similar movies that Clint Eastwood made afterwards.
Got it. And it's Dirty Harry in Magnum Force. I watched that last week and it was pretty good. But they say the first one's the best one. So,
and the first one, according to Just Watch, is the only one on Max.
Oh, sweet. And it's 7.7 on IMDb. That's not bad.
Yeah. It's the best one out of all.
It's really, oh, shit.
IMDb wise, yeah.
Cool, awesome. We'll watch it in the retro room. All right, anything else?
Nope.
You good? Okay. Let's see what Kevin has to say. These days, it'd be a Dirty Harry call-in style with subtitles. I don't know what that means.
You okay?
Huh?
You okay, Kevin?
You okay, Kevin? Did you have a stroke? Okay, so thank you to our cool-ass Yarduties on our Patreon. That is Javier, Listener Steven, Heather Sachs, Ryan Corbin, and Chris. And also thank you to Stab Comedy and Jesse for hosting us today, next month, and every 4th Saturday on twitch.tv/Stab Comedy. Subscribe, follow the show there. Go to an in-person performance, follow them on Facebook. You can see all the events. They got all kinds of good stuff. And they're keeping local... Oh, okay. They're keeping local comedy alive. Kevin says, keeping the brand, it would be Dirty Harry, with the subtitle. It'd be like basically Dirty Harry, Magnum Force.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Until next time. Thank you for following us on Twitch or listening on the podcast. And as we review Kubo and the Two Strings. Slightly disappointing, but still a good watch. Mm-hmm. Follow us next week as we do Dirty Harry, the original of the series. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Twitter at Podcast MCFC and on TikTok at Middle Class Film Class.
And please follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class. And if you want to call and leave a voicemail, the information is in the show notes. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
All right, everybody, that is it for this afternoon, but we're not done for the day. You can come back at 9 for LOLGBT Plus presents hashtag STFU. Lots of letters, but what matters is that it's drag, it's stand-up, and then it's drag performers doing stand-up, and stand-ups doing lip-sync. So enjoy that. In the meantime, hey, online audience, I was looking for something to send us to. I was just going to send you back over to Booty Mashup like we do. But then I found there's some roller derby. It's the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. Thank you, recommended channels sidebar. We're going to send you guys over there to get some roller derby. Why the heck not? So we'll see you back here at 9. Hold on for the raid. Have a good afternoon.
Thanks, Jesse. See you, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.